What's up, y'all? Evening. Happy Saturday. Hope everybody's doing great. Got a really cool view of Jupiter right now. Trifecta of moons to the right. Europa, Callisto, and Ganymede hanging out. Io just about to go behind Jupiter, I believe, or in front. We'll see. Hey, space crew, what's going on? Vision, what's up, Lord Putnam? What's up, Kokabi? What's up, Tom? How you doing? And thanks for the thumbs. What's up, Lady Nightmare? Hope you guys are having a good night. Just getting started right here. Got back and got some French fries. Really warm, really incredibly hot weather today. It wasn't warm, it was just like toasty, but really gorgeous. Feel a little fried, but let's cruise the skies today. Moon is looking excellent, 41% illuminated. Gonna head over there in a quick second after Io just disappears, maybe 5 minutes, and maybe get a shot of the other planets as well. It looks really clear, so perhaps even a satellite or two, we shall see. I want to ask y'all, I checked the video today from yesterday that had like 30 thumbs down, and I don't know, this evening it looked like it was only 1 thumbs down, and I wonder if like you guys are seeing the same thing. So tell me if you look at the video from yesterday's stream, if it still has those 30 thumbs down actually. Yeah, so let me know. I don't know, maybe it was a glitch, maybe I was seeing things, who knows. Perhaps they fixed the bot issue. That would be cool. But the old videos definitely still have those weird things, but who cares? Anyway, moving on. Yeah, I feel like I'm a little cracked out tonight, but let's settle in for the ride. I'll eat my French fries and get it going. Better believe me, soon we cannot lose. Yo, Ellie, what's going on, girl? Try that again. Is that a little louder? Yeah, I feel that's better. There we go. I'll just have to talk a little straighter into the mic just because it's like I said, that unidirectional stuff. If I talk a little off to the side, all of a sudden it goes away. There we go. Manual panning. What's up, Ellie? What's up there, Michael? PPP. Whoever else is just joining. Like I said, just setting up over here. What's up, Awaken, Alabama? How you doing, bud? Nice vision. It's 840 420 times 2. Awesome. What's up, Carolina? Yo. Hope you're doing good. Hit that like. Invite a friend to come watch. Just gonna play some live tunes tonight and talk to y'all like I did yesterday. Gonna keep it a fairly, not too long. I think yesterday like an hour and a half was kind of nice, and we'll do 2 hours tonight. So let's talk about electric universe stuff, about antagonism in science, about weird prophets of doom and gloom, and how we can deal with that in a better way and be nicer to one another. That's just what I'm feeling today. And I got a cool version of Light of the Moon with piano that I'll play for y'all as well. What's up, Rockstar? How you doing? Evening to you. What's up, Chris Astro? How you doing? Spacing. Really great configuration. I saw Jupiter come up, I was like, man, I gotta go live quick. Yo, what's up, Globus Hystericus? Greetings from the UK. Back at ya. What's going on, Zero Mel's given? Just videoed the moon with an iPhone and telescope. Awesome. What else? Who else? Oh, damn, Carolina, you're dealing with cell phone update issues. That's the worst. I, unfortunately or fortunately, have an iPhone, so I haven't dealt with, I guess the S9 is the Galaxy. Yeah, so I'm not sure about that. You're best off, I don't know, do you have a laptop to check out other stuff, or are you watching this on your phone? Hope you get that sorted out. It's really annoying. Hey, thanks, y'all. That's Io about to, let me see, I'm going to check Stellarium and see what's going on with Io, if it's about to transit Jupiter or go behind Jupiter. Let's check it. Let me know if the volume on my voice is doing okay right now. I definitely have that latency stuff, but when I listened to the stream last night, it sounded fine, so it's just for me. It's just my, like, binaural weirdness. Hum, 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 hum. All right, Io, what are you doing? What are you doing? Yeah, so I think it looks like Io's about to go in front of Jupiter, so that's cool. It's right there on the cusp. I'm going to watch it for a few more minutes and then go over to the moon, and then maybe we can check back later and see if we can see a little bit of Io in front of Jupiter. Triangulation of the other moons is going to stay still, I think. Oh, hell yeah, you checked out the Electric View duplicate? That's awesome. Yeah, I watched some more. It's so funny how I mentioned them last night, and then I was like, Sky Scholar doesn't upload that much, and he uploaded one at the same time as Thunderbolts and Electric View. They all posted today. It's really interesting. Yeah, there's a little bit of crackling in the background. Sorry, guys. I don't know really what I can do about that. It's just this crappy sound card, but we'll deal. Hope it's not too annoying. What's up, cute? Cupcake, how you doing? All right, we got a full house. Io is about to transit in front of Jupiter, and then I'm going to switch over to the Crescent Moon. We'll do a little Atlas tour, play some tunes, etc. I'm just munching on my fries right here. The Globus, I mentioned this yesterday about the observatories. I really don't have any concrete evidence as to what's going on there, but I tend to react very cautiously about stories that involve solar flares or the end of the world or destruction like that, because I feel like there must be events like shutting down certain factories or bases or anything like that pretty regularly, but we don't hear about it, or nor do we relate it to sunspots, for example, or solar flares, or like, calamity extreme events. But you never hear about those. And those include, special forces or FBI or anything. They all go down to tons of different places, and we never hear about it. So the solar flare thing is something that doesn't worry me much. I'll tell you further about it later, but it's really, the whole idea is let's just watch and wait and not judge without too much evidence. But it is a little strange, that's for sure. But I've always thought like the large telescopes in general act pretty strange publicly. Whether it's sharing data or whether it's updating their websites. Like there are websites for telescopes like Mount Wilson or the Keck Observatory or the Subaru telescope. If you go and look at their websites, they look really antiquated. Looks like no one updates them. Or even if they're updated, they have no data. Like, it's just ridiculous. So I wouldn't worry too much about it personally. But yeah, if I have more information, I'll share it with people. I'm just kind of keeping an eye on that. Anyway, point is, I was saying, like, there must be all these events that are not related to calamities, so they're not talked about as much. This happens to be an observatory, so it feels like it's connected to the whole, end of the world type thing, and that's why there's a lot of hype around it. Maybe there was like a leak, or like somebody was mentioning, I said a mercury leak. I think it was suspicious observers. Maybe a CME. If it's a CME, then like whatever. Let's enjoy our last moments on Earth together. Anyone else just joined? Let's see. Pretty cool. Seen in front of Jupiter. It's almost there. Vision said, best thing I heard was due to China having hacked into the cameras around these locations. That's pretty interesting. Although, I feel like they're, I'm just going to say it, I think the public, the government's kind of being at odds with one another is not really true. It's kind of just this public facade for everyone to pay attention to it. But I feel like we share data with China and Russia pretty regularly. I don't think it's a big deal, but it's kind of made to be a big deal in public. But who knows? I mean, I don't know if any of you guys have researched like the Chang'e rover or the Jade Rabbit or like the Chinese lunar missions. Those websites, even in Chinese, are just like ridiculously antiquated and primitive for the accomplishments they claim to have made. And don't go down that list and look at independent, like ESO even, like all of the stuff doesn't seem like the same people who say they've been to Mars and into space. And even if they have, like, the data out there is really limited, even though it looks like a lot. Like if you go to the NASA site, about 10 photos or whatever, 10 pictures out of the 20 news articles are renderings or artist conceptions of things or future plans or people, celebrities. Like, how is half of their data not actual footage of space? It's ridiculous. So in general, it's kind of weird. Let's see, one more question, or comment rather. Duplicate says, I left a question on the Sky Scholar channel, that's Pierre-Marie Robitaille. When viewing sunspots, do we know whether we're seeing holes or crowns? So what I would recommend, like, in fact, there is a lot of great, incredibly high definition footage of solar flares, sunspots, and kind of the filamentary nature of the rim of these sunspots. And there are really a lot of measurements and a lot of spectrograph readings, where they've measured kind of the coldness of these sunspots. And this is really what's interesting, is that it kind of, the idea is that these sunspots look into the core of the sun, and it should be much hotter, but they are actually colder. And I'm not actually sure, like, because I feel like there's this kind of middle ground where Pierre-Marie Robitaille, the Sky Scholar channel, he's really not 100% electric universe per se. He talks about a liquid hydrogen metallic sun, with a crystal lattice, and he talks about black body emission, radiation, laws of thermodynamics, Kirchhoff's law, and all of these, he's challenging the standard model in a very serious way, but he doesn't necessarily believe exactly what Don Scott believes about the electric sun. I don't think they're 100%, they don't coincide exactly, but they talk about similar effects, which are the fact that theoretically, in the electric model, where these planetary bodies and the sun and stars and planets and et cetera are grown along filamentary currents on these nodes or points along the string, like pearls on a chain. And so theoretically, if the sun was grown on one of these little nodes, it could have developed out of liquid into liquid metallic hydrogen. The argument there, the little backstory, is that the public version of the sun is that it's a gaseous sun, and there's this fear of the sun collapsing, et cetera, et cetera. But in the electric model, the sun actually has a visible surface where there's a convection. Well, these are two different models, but you have to follow Sky Scholar and Electric Universe, Donald Scott to be particular, and look at the two different models because they kind of have interesting points on both sides. So the idea of having a liquid metallic sun with a surface is actually quite interesting because it changes the way measurements can be taken. It changes radiation, and it changes interpretations of the data. So it's a pretty big deal. And the reason I believe that there are convection, or actually just that the sun has a surface, is because we see those pictures where the kind of arcing magnetic filaments, or the plasma, the kind of stuff that looks like fire, but it's actually magnetic flux of whatever the sun is made of, I guess in this case, liquid metallic hydrogen. And these kind of splash backwards onto the surface of the sun and create these ripples that we can see in a ton of pictures. And so it would seem like the sun does have a surface, which would contradict the current solar, like the public version of the solar model, and would, just breed a lot of great new questions and thinking about it. All right, that was a lot about the sun, but that's one aspect of what Sky Scholar is talking about, but it's a very important one. All right, back to the chill. What do we got? This is, while I take a little break, I'm going to play y'all this new version of Light of the Moon that I'm working on. It's all piano, and I tried to mess around with like a synth saxophone. I know it might sound really cheesy, but I'm going to play it for y'all. You guys probably know this song, but this is a different version of it. So let's roll.
Myself in a dream, I tell ya. Locked doors, no floors in this fantasy. Take the night, cause everything's meant for your pleasure. You found a home, you found your map, you found your treasure. When you play your mind, your face, the needlessness to rest.
Yo, yo, what's up, y'all? All right, so buffering is fixed, I hope. Neighbor is done with his staircase jogging. Moon is looking really nice. Just want to hop on and say what's up to the chat. Thanks for being patient with the buffering. And phone for Carolina is still the same. That sucks, sorry. Michael Wisdom, what's going on? Welcome to the stream. He's talking about Edgar Cayce. I watched a bunch of stuff about Edgar Cayce. I used to watch David Wilcock, and he was pretty convinced that he was the reincarnation of Edgar Cayce. But I did find some definitely interesting predictions that he made. However, I think a lot of the stuff that he predicted was really based around the stuff he heard Velikovsky and even earlier than that, probably Tesla and his ilk. Like, the idea of field theory has been around for a very long time. So I don't doubt that Edgar Cayce had some very interesting points to make. However, I feel like, let's hear, this is what Michael said. After studying the mystery schools, including Edgar Cayce, I think many of the craters on the moon are some free energy firestone crystals that were tuned up too high, just like Atlantis. And then follow up with, then just like Atlantis sunk, so does around the crystals sink after using the land too long and too much energy out of the crystals. Okay? It says, as the firestones are tuned up too high for free energy stretches the fabric of space, time, and matter, around which then falls apart like a particular event. And then that event was directed firestone technology. So that's a lot to unpack, but let's see. I think I can unpack a little of that. So I think it's a lot of theories mixed into one, and really don't take this as me judging you. This is just my thoughts on it since you're sharing. So I feel like the last part of it, that's speculation and possible, but the names for it, for example, like this idea of the fabric of space-time, the fact that you're mentioning firestone, free energy, this completely contradicts the idea of space-time. Because the idea of the electric universe and plasma and levitation, sonic acoustics, sonoluminescence, etc., this denotes this new cosmology, or the old cosmology, but new way of thinking about it, where there is really no fabric per se of space and time, and gravity is not a function of bending space and time and then having other bodies revolve around that. In fact, field modalities determine what we perceive as gravity. So I think directed firestone technology, totally possible technology that exists. Maybe the ancients used things like that. However, I feel like, let's see, what else? Atlantis, again, what Atlantis is, we're not sure. You know, there are a lot of different names for different parts of ancient geography and locations. And I feel like even the word Atlantis is really just a Western word. If you look at other names of Atlantis, you'll see that there's this kind of ubiquitous notion of a golden era and a golden city. And maybe Atlantis was real, but maybe it's reference to just an epoch where things thrived in that way. So I think there's a lot of stuff going on in what you're talking about, but I feel like if you separate them out, you know, you can take Atlantis alone, you can look at zero-point energy alone, and then the fabric of space-time is something I don't really prescribe to anymore. I feel like it's really been readily debunked by many, many mathematicians. It's just a slow-moving version of science that doesn't want to change. But it's just a ridiculous notion that we somehow as conscious beings can say one way or another what space-time actually is, and then from there, you know, pretend that we know that that's a given and begin to postulate beyond that. I think that's where things get really hairy, and you get completely into speculation land. What's much more likely is that we're looking at this moon, which we are, and it has marks on it that we call craters. And these craters we thought were impacts, and now we're looking at this idea that maybe they weren't impact craters, and therefore you need to speculate what it could be. And then if somebody postulates the idea of arcing, electrical blasting, and they show it in a laboratory, and then you look at the moon and it looks like it's the same sort of thing, then you can kind of take that and start working from there. So speculation is great, but you know, there are things that we can turn our sights to if you're interested in, you know, zero-point energy and crystals being tuned. You know, if you take that seriously, then think about every screen, LCD. The entire idea of crystals is really intrinsic to the structure of the universe. The rocks are crystal lattices. We look at things and build things in hexagonal crystal structures, and watches, and everything works really on crystals. So it's not just like Atlantean mega crystals, you know, because that's where the poetic stuff kind of takes over the science part of it. And then the last point that you made, you know, that could also be acoustic energy, it could be sonic waves, and it could be other technologies that we're completely unaware of. So that's my thoughts. But thanks for sharing, Michael. Wisdom. Appreciate it. So really sharp, 41% waxing crescent moon tonight. Blew my smoke right into the mic. I'm just getting up Stellarium right here because I want to check the altitude. And we got a couple of stars when I had the ISO up around the moon. Where are you at? Lunar, coming to play, coming to play. Yeah, so top right of the moon, there's a small star, and to the left, again, both of these are unnamed magnitude 6 stars. Moon is, like I said, 40.8% illuminated, almost 41, coming in at, what's the altitude? 29 degrees. I think it's setting at this point. Yep. What's going on, Michigan? How you doing? Yeah, Michael, no problem. That's cool. Michael says, just throwing out some ideas, definitely. I think Michael says, I think Atlantis was Antarctica and many other places around the world, but that's why it froze. Free energy devices do cause cooling. You know, my thought, that's also, like, it's so interesting, like, some of these statements kind of have, you know, 3 to 4 different aspects to them. You know, Antarctica is definitely interesting. What it was called, what it looked like, how much ice was there. Amazing stuff to look into. Other places around the world, definitely there were cities that we call certain things that the Chinese called something else and the Indians called something else. That's why it froze. I feel like freezing and heating is a cyclical pattern within the structure of the universe, entropic universe, and just expending energy and then regaining energy. And so the Earth goes through cycles, and I feel like we've had like an ice age, like mini ice ages and mini heat waves throughout. Like I've seen charts that show like 400 years, you get these kind of dips. So we don't know if Antarctica just like freezes over and then thaws, and then that's why you have all those stories about Admiral Byrd discovering these lush green areas and like the hole in Antarctica and flying into that. I feel like it's might even be there now. You might even have these areas of lush tundra and greenery and lakes, freshwater lakes in Antarctica surrounded by ice. So we don't know, but it's really hard to go and check it. And if you check out Google Earth, I think somebody was saying it's all BS, but Google Earth doesn't have these pictures really. I mean, it just shows, there are a lot of anomalies with Google Earth, of course, especially when you kind of dig deep. Yo, what's going on, Dagger Spells? How you doing? What's up, Dapple Ben? Just saw you there. So let's see what's going on. Michael says, I think Atlanta, yeah, right. I don't believe in gravity, but I do believe the electric universe, I don't believe in gravity. I do believe in the electric universe, but I do believe it acts like a fabric fractal field. Well, yeah, I mean, it's just the word fabric and the way it's shown in all these videos and documentaries over the years where it's like a sheet that's pulled and then it bends. That I think is just really misleading and primitive in terms of the three-dimensional structure of the universe. Like the idea of the electric universe being a three-dimensional fish tank with filamentary structures in it, that makes a lot more sense visually, where things are grown on filaments, and then you see across, like it could be in a cube, you know, we might be in a cube, not in a sphere, but it really seems like, or in a hexagon, for example. You know, and even further than that, like I've thought about things where, like I even mentioned this yesterday, where the universe itself is kind of this flat energy field, and somehow like our consciousness or our optics make it pop out like a picture book, you know, into the third dimension. So the thing with the fabric is just the idea of merging space-time as a thing, because time is not really a thing. Time is really a measurement that we see in terms of deducing two patterns. The interval between two repeating patterns is what we kind of use to determine time. But space is this entirely other thing. So the idea of like doing space-time is just, it kind of sounds like nonsense, and it feels like nonsense. But I never understood how to explain it away, you know, because everyone believes it. But it really doesn't make sense. Michael says, sounds like you've been doing your homework. I also do agree with you. I just tried to throw out some ideas. Hell yeah, man. Welcome, welcome, and I'm glad you're sharing. I don't mean to shoot down any ideas. I have my kind of thought process baked in at this point. Like I've watched almost, I want to say 90% of the Electric Universe videos, maybe, and a lot of the, like the EU conferences. I've watched those talks many, many, many times, and partly because I was brute forcing the knowledge. I don't know if you guys know that term, but if you just kind of watch a video 10 times, or like a documentary, it somehow sinks in, and then a few weeks later, you kind of really can start conceiving of the deeper level of what the meaning is. So I kind of just watch videos sometimes like a bunch of times in a row. I'm getting a lot of crackly static. I feel like, stop messing with my feed, yo. Yeah, what was I talking about? Yeah, so I've watched the Electric Universe stuff, so some of my answers will sound kind of snappy or like I've figured it out, but I don't feel like I have. I just kind of interpret it in this different way now. Yeah, all of those are very interesting topics. I'd love to hear what everybody else in the chat thinks about what I said or what Michael said. So please feel free to share and ask me some questions, and I hope I can answer them. What's up, Daryl? How you doing? Actually, you know what I'd like to do? Let's do a little Zoom tour just with the wide shot and the Atlas. Crackly, crackly. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Michael keeps adding some fuel to this discussion. Says, don't forget they have found 100% flash frozen animals with food still in their mouths. This is something I totally think is an important point, and it's I tell like my friends constantly that this is something that billions of years or whatever, hundreds of millions of years of erosion and storm, weather patterns and systems and the Earth changing can't explain these literally flash frozen, like you said, like fish eating other fish mid-bite are completely fossilized, or petrified forests, for example, or rocks that have just been boiled and then are just frozen in time as like boiled rock. And you see this a ton in the Grand Canyon. Stuff like that's very fascinating. The idea of a massive geo-electrical storm for whatever, maybe 1,000 years or a week, who knows? But at that level, that power, it would be amazing to see what would happen. Potentially, things were getting zapped left and right, and we're essentially being petrified. And similarly, further than that, what's great is, if any of y'all know about like Clash of the Titans, I'm sure you've heard of that, or Medusa, for example, like the snake creature with the head of snakes. Her gaze would turn things to stone. And so you kind of relate Medusa to Venus, let's say, as a comet or whatever, potentially another celestial body that was interacting with Earth, and then you can kind of imagine that potentially our ancestors were seeing things get zapped and frozen in stone instantly. And that's unbelievably scary, but also just unbelievably amazing too, because holy crap, how did they see that? How did they know that? I mean, some people must have been alive during the time, or I don't know, really interesting. Yo, what's up, Cat C? How you doing? Welcome. There's no gravity, the whole world sucks. Like, the thing is, believing, in the concept of gravity as a constant throughout the universe is something I agree is something that I can't get behind. But, the effect of gravity that we see or call gravity as a byproduct of dielectric inertial momentum and interaction of magnetics of the human body and the field around it, we perceive that as gravity. So it's not like believing, you can't say I don't believe that if I jump up I won't fall, because you essentially do. However, it doesn't mean that if you jump on Saturn that there's anything like the idea of gravity on Earth. However, field modality would determine that there is some sort of gravitational effect that is perceived on every planet and throughout the universe. But why that's happening is really more what I'm talking about. Cool. Up to date, up to speed. So what was I doing? I was trying to zoom into this moon. All right, got this moon up right now. This is still with the focal reducer, and I'm just going to go through this with this atlas and call out a few features. Got Woman of the Water in the background. Hopefully it's not too distracting. So right now, just zoomed in right here. The crater with the triple central peak, Theophilus. To the left of that, Cyrillus. And then Katharina is the third one that brings up that loop. And then we're looking at the Mare dead center is called Mare Nectaris, Nectaris. You got a rim crater called Fracastorius, like Jaco Pastorius. Yeah, I talked about that last night. We saw it. So Mare Nectaris, Fracastorius. Above that, got a little crater called Beaumont. And Mare Nectaris, the size of that is about, let's see, that's about 350 kilometers in diameter, this kind of area. 350 kilometers squared. Yo, what's up there, Miguel Gonzalez? How you doing? You got a little birdie flyby. All right, so to the right, you got two little craters. One is Bonenberger. I want to say, is it? No, wait. No. Okay. Yeah, to the right of Nectaris, actually. Or actually, let's follow this from Theophilus. So top of your screen, you got the one, this really, really pronounced triple central peak. That's Theophilus. And right under Theophilus, the tiny crater is called Madler, Madler. And if you follow that down, you'll see a grouping of two craters kind of side by side. That is Isidorus and Capella. We're gonna get deep on the moon tonight. I really like pointing out, features that we haven't looked at before. So like I was saying, Isidorus, Capella, and then that kind of whole flatland area, you got a few, what is that, Censorinus? Really interesting names. Let's keep going to the right. You can see a very small Messier A and B inside Mare Fecunditatis. Messier A and B are the tiny little craters, but the one with the really pronounced V ray. And then to the right of the screen, Mare Crisium coming up with Pierce and Picard as the eyes. Proclus right outside the mouth with the pronounced white rays again. And then there's this little crater where I'm going to zoom in one level deeper. Search this here. All right, so dead center of your screen right now, we got Taruntius and Rima Taruntius, which is again another deep knowledge crater. Taruntius is 56 kilometers in diameter, and it has a bunch of pyroclastic features around it. Yeah, Daryl, I'm gonna have to go in without the focal reducer here, but actually Messier A and B I can show it a little better right here, because I doubled up on the zoom. So you see in the center of your screen this one little egg-shaped crater with a dark shadow that has like a white marking, like a twin parallel white marking. I don't want to say parallel, it's kind of almost like arcing out, radiating out rather. So that's Messier A, and next to it is Messier, I want to say just Messier, right? Messier A and Messier. Yeah, Messier B is to the right of that, is the small little dot. I don't know, it's getting a little atmospheric, that's for sure. I'm not sure what's going on. I feel like maybe some clouds are moving through or some haze. I haven't stepped outside, I'm kind of on the inside right here. Oh, hell yeah, you're doing your new camera, Tom. Good job. P1000. Is it everything? Right now it's everything. All right, so let's keep moving up on this. so centered on your screen. I'm going to say this is Posidonius, if I'm not mistaken. It is. This is one of my favorite features, dead center on your screen, Posidonius crater. This is like, I was saying, it's sort of like a Ascendi crater, and we found another one yesterday that had a similar thing. I want to say it's, was it Atlas? No, it was a different one. But it's very interesting to have these very wide areas with sinuous rills inside the crater floor, and then tiny craterlets in the center. Is the volume a little low? Here, let me see what I can do about that. All right, let me know if you can hear me a little bit better. Yeah, Daryl was talking about, says maybe a true oblique impact, talking about Messier, right? Messier A. So that's a really interesting thing. I wonder, like, is that like marks, you know, left behind by it skidding across the surface and then landing, or is it like ejecta from the side where it was blasted, so in the opposite direction? Pretty fascinating. I'm gonna get zoomed in a bit more so we can see that again. But right now, let's see. I got Posidonius, and then this great sinuous rill. That's Mare Serenity, Sea of Serenity, or Mare Serenitatis, with a kind of snake-like forked tongue, sinuous rill, right? Showing really well, partly because of the Terminator line being shadowed. What's up, Mike Rabel? How's it going? Moon's looking great. What time are you going to be looking at Mars and Jupiter? Oh yeah, good. Thanks for the reminder. I think Jupiter's getting pretty low, so maybe we'll check that out real quick. Io was about to transit, and we had the other moons in a triangular configuration. I'm gonna do like one more minute on the moon. Hercules and Atlas to the right of Posidonius. And we got Gale crater. No, wait, that's Aristoteles. That's half in shadow and half light, with a kind of little crescent at the top. Let's go down just a little bit. Mare Marginis and Mare Undarum. Now I finally remember them off the top of my head, but these two tortured pyroclastic areas underneath Mare Crisium are great. To the left of that is Langrenus crater, and man, there's this feature that I feel like is a libration feature under Langrenus. Let me check that out. That is Mare Smithy. Yeah, that's that one we saw last time. Mare S-M-Y-T-H-I-I, Smithy. It's kind of Mare region underneath Langrenus to the very bottom. But yeah, let's head over to Jupiter before it gets too chromatically aberrated to see. Let's run some of these twos. Let's do this. Lots of haze going on. What's up, Dr. Ayad Hassan Camel? How are you? Good to see you. Welcome back, Awake. I'm glad you mediated the cat fight. Who else joined? I hope I didn't miss anybody. Daryl, take it easy, my man. I saw you left. So just switching up the lens. No, let's see. No. Chat disconnected me for a second. That's weird. All right. That was a little jam in, that's called, what was that called, actually? That was some Santana thing that I just got inspired by, and then I was like, let me see what I can do if I can, like, pretend to be an entire Santana band. Santana band. Yeah, I'll call that the song. Yeah, little jam. Got the focal reducer removed. Looking at this gorgeous moon. Jupiter's set, unfortunately, I missed that. But it was going down really quickly. It was already kind of almost set when I saw it earlier. That's why I kind of got on live so abruptly. It's still sort of behind the trees, but I can't really view it. Saturn and Mars still look like we can check them out, but I want to make sure we get a good shot of the moon in HD right here, because sharpness is abundant tonight. Right here at the north portion, Hercules Atlas at the top, Mare Serenitatis and Posidonius craters, and then Chrysium, of course, Tranquility, Nectaris, and Fecunditatis. Such a cool shot. Just want to get a little bit of footage over here, especially with Mare Smythe and Mare Marginis at the very right, kind of being libration features. Very important to get that footage, because I kind of eventually want to show you guys what libration looks like from an amateur perspective, you know, from a backyard perspective, because you can really get this, but I'm missing a few particular phases of the moon. Of course, the first few percent are so difficult to get. I think I've gotten like a 5% moon once. I have one shot of that in the library, and I think, let me see. I mean, what's even cool is that I have like footage from the eclipse, which is essentially a new moon. So, I don't know, I feel like I want to put together a full month of the moon, but that's going to be a while. Little Santana tribute, yeah. Yep. All right. So, let me know in the chat room if you want me to leave the moon just like this and play some guitar and sing, or should I go back in and do like a zoom of different features? Because I kind of can't do both. I mean, I could try, but wide shot is nice, especially if there's a flyby or a ripple in the force. So let me know in the chat if you want some jams or you want some lunar tours. Just hang out right here for a sec and get this footage. Also, earlier, like there's this very cool shot that I wrote in the chat. It was a first time. I'm pretty sure it was a first time for me to get Earthshine / dark side and a star being occulted by the moon in the same frame, even though I want to say that I got that shot with the waning crescent moon and the waning crescent moon and not Sirius. Aldebaran, yeah. So the crescent moon and Aldebaran, I got like Aldebaran being occulted by the moon and then coming out the other side. However, interestingly, because it happened so early in the morning, the dark side wasn't as prominent as we just saw tonight. Like literally tonight, you were able to see the Earthshine dark side portion of the moon in frame, amazingly, like a ghost, with the star, which was just a magnitude 6 unnamed star, HIP 8.3 something, I want to say. Can't find it right here, but yeah, that got occulted. Therefore, beautiful shot, but also great proof that you can't really see through the moon. And that's, you know, easy, like what I like to bring to the table is simple proofs to, I hate the word debunk, but, you know, there's a lot of ideas out there about the moon being transparent or translucent, and that's a perfect example of like a simple way to deduct the answer to that question if you have it. Or that was the one for me, for example. So, so I want to say it's a first, I guess, on stream, and also a first of really clear dark side on star. All right. Play and sing. All right, vote for music, 3 votes. In Towley, I choose there. I choose. Let me see. Come on, Towley. When's the last time you had a good burn? 20? 30 seconds? It's the towel's time now. I choose both. Is that the right tonality? I still have the original Towley doll that says, that has all the catchphrases. Excuse me. That was a full Towley moment. I have no idea what's going on. All right, copyright, South Park. Don't sue me. All right, let's see if this guitar thing works. It's right down that dear road. Did I lose the whole crowd? I don't even know. Maybe got like 1,000 thumbs down for that. All right. Just, I was stolen by the rock star. Don't know what they're killing for. We're staring up at those familiar lights, enormous. Don't make me pay the cost. I wanna live another day of chaos. But what does it all mean? Is it all just one bad dream? Oh, 'cause I'm trying to forgive, locking those lips to break them apart. Diamonds in orbit, sparkling tricks to sweeten the spoil. Stuck in this orbit, sneaking, recoiling. Darling, don't waste my heart anymore. 'Cause I can't wait forever, leave without you. And I can't wait forever. Oh, where does this feeling come from? Where do I get the right to ask such righteous questions? Oh, where does this feeling get me? Or how do I know it's right to ask those just crazy questions? Oh, where does this feeling get you? Oh, where does this feeling get you? But I know I have the right to ask those. But I'm trying to forget, locking those lips to break them right. We have the right. We have the right to sing about our sorrow, jealousy. Church don't know nothing for me. And the sky satellites don't work for you and me. Are they just somebody's pet project? If you got the money, you can buy an eye in the sky. What you looking at now? What's it look like up there from space? What's it look like up there from space? What's it look like up there? What's it look like up there? Have I lost everybody? Have I lost my way down? Ooh, that was a little thing that crossed, but I think it was a bird. It was really tiny. It's going to come up on your screen for a second. Yo, awake. The buffering's out of control. Looks okay on my end. Looks green over here. What's going on, chat room? Hope you guys are doing okay. Is the audio good? Am I just talking some nonsense? A few clouds rolling in, I feel. Make up a new song right now. Just, let's see. Give me something different too. All right. This world deserves a little peace and someplace warm. I've been playing the part that I want no other war. This world deserves a little peace without alarms. Stitch my heart, but I don't want no other tears. This world deserves a little peace and someplace warm. This world deserves a little place without alarms. And I'll play my part. Your sympathy on me. I don't need no new fears. Just sing the light outside my window is so bright outside tonight. That moon tour sounds so good. Yeah, I kind of want to do the moon tour as well. Yeah, I'm just gonna let's see. Interestingly, though, I think it's getting a little more aberration than it was before, a little more turbulence. It might not actually be the best time for a moon tour, but I got Theophilus in view. And a crackly Stellarium. So we can see I've been Yo, what's up, Jacqueline? How's it going? Thank you. I feel like the clouds just moved in, and they did. That's how it goes. Let me see. Maybe I can just adjust these settings and we get a little moon. That was fun. feel like I'm getting back in that chat room flow. You know, I've thought about it for a lot of days and a lot of nights to kind of go back through all the streams and talk real slow like this. Go back through all the streams and kind of pick out some of these songs that I write live and maybe turn them into fully fledged productive these full-fledged productions like I do with the other songs. I feel like I've written a lot of stuff. Anyway, I was just going to get the moon in view, but I feel like it might come back to you. Come on. Yeah, that's pretty gnarly cloudage right there. You can see a little bit of the moon coming through. But still jamming, still crackling. What's going on, everybody? Oh, no. Just looking up the weather for a second. Still looks clear. I don't get it. Whatever. We'll hang on this for a little bit. Maybe it'll clear. Ah, there we go. Come back to us, Luna. This sort of happened last night. I feel it's like some grounding issues or electrical stuff. Oh, I'll have the drums. What's up, more jello, please? Just add the drums. Hello, jello. Hello. Is there copyright out there? Just not if you can strike me. She's back. Hey, do you know any Nick Drake things behind the sun? So I've honestly stopped wanting to do cover songs, even though I love doing cover songs because of all the copyright stuff lately. I get literally a message or 3 or 5 every day on old videos saying like this blah 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 song and this blah blah blah. Not that I care about making revenue. It's more about like having ads on these videos, which sucks. So I've kind of opted to not do too many cover songs. But I love Nick Drake. Yeah. Things Behind the Sun. I don't know that one though, in particular, but I do like Nick Drake. All right, looks like the moon's back.
Stellarium. Aging you all the knowledge, find you on the back of the street. And when you called to me, I must have given you my heart, and then you left me out to leave. Don't you know? I just want to play new stuff. You know, I like my stuff, but man, I really want to write some new things this year. Just so busy. But I've also been practicing piano and learning some theory. So less writing, but learning a lot, and I feel like it's going to pay off. Yo, what's up, Anon Drude? How you doing? Oh, you're the one who asked about Nick Drake, sorry. The screen is a little too far. There we go. What'd you say? Take your time and you'll be fine, and say a prayer for the people there. Saw it written and I saw it say Pink Moon, it's on its way. Is that the Nick Drake song? I feel like I've seen those lyrics before. Chris Astro says, I'm gonna make filming the Moon series video of these craters. Hell yeah, man. I sort of wanted to do that. I started to do that, and then I kind of got sidetracked. Mostly because I feel like in the future, I'm gonna get a larger scope and a really dedicated site to do this work. And I feel like at that point, I'm gonna kind of really do that footage at the highest quality. I might not be streaming at the time, but yeah, I definitely don't like that idea. I feel like amateur or independent people have to do their own version of all the features on the moon. Like I've done stuff on Aristarchus a bunch, and you know, certain other features too, but yeah, that's really cool. I dig it. Toes, toes. All right, you know, I feel like it's clear right now, and I don't want to blow out my voice because I feel like I'm going to be streaming for the next few weeks, actually, probably. So I'm going to take a little break, and we'll do some zoomed-in views while I have a little breather, and then we'll kind of go through pieces. But yeah, it's looking quite nice right now, cleared up. So thanks for listening. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Oh, did I lose everybody? It's 14 people watching. It's hilarious. All right. Let's do it.
So chasing the clouds around, that's what's going on right now. I think it's a sign. Everybody dropped off, went to bed. I said I would stream for 2 hours, so all synchronicities. Anyway, we got a little shot of Saturn, a little shot of Mars, and then back here at the moon in the wide shot. Just want to welcome also Broken Finn. How you doing, bud? Welcome to the channel. We came a little late. I'm about to start winding it down, but hope to see you on another stream. Hit the bell so you get notified, if you already know that. But yeah, welcome. And good night, Mary, Ellie, and Jacqueline. Thank you guys so much, you gals so much. I really appreciate your time and your participation on the show. Thank you. Have an awesome Sunday. You're studying astrotheology at like college or just on YouTube? I'm not making fun. Astrotheology is interesting, for sure. Yeah, cloud cover is hefty. So I'll say thanks and have a great day tomorrow, everybody. Awake, Broken Finn, sorry it's so short. Ellie, Jacqueline again, Mary again, who else? Anon Drude, thanks man. Jello please, Vision, Mo P. Saw you up there. Tom and Miguel, Dr. Ayad. Thanks, y'all. I'm gonna let this ride out. Have a last sig with y'all. Broken Finn. If you got the time, you want to see some stuff like, I have some playlists of things like flying by the moon, satellites, ISS, like lots of really cool videos from the past. So please dig deep in the archives. There are like 500 videos or something. And if you want anything recommended, like you want me to find a video for you, let me know in the comments. But yeah, happy to have you as a new visitor. Miguel, thanks. Ellie, awesome. Yeah, that was a little cool shot of the black clouds going through. I'm gonna let it go for a few more minutes, like 5 more minutes. All right, good night, everybody. Take care.
Locked doors, no flaws in this fantasy. Take the night, cause everything's meant for your pleasure. You found the tomb, you found your map, you found your treasure. Your mind, your face, the needlessness to rest. Harmony waves, love, yeah. The story sails the corner of the page. Harmony waves found the whole, I found the stage. Harmony stays, oh, it is your fate. It's all about you. It's all about it's true. Nothing's going to go with you. I feel slowly rocking you. I feel so hard for you. I feel so wrapped up, it's true. So it's true. Love feels slow, take off with you. I feel slowly rocking you. Trembling in ecstasy, you don't see the harm in us to kill. They know you're standing up, police and shit. Sing all day, won't you come back down? Still you're up in the throne and take you far. But what might it take you for? So glad I found your tree. Drift like wood on the beach. We suffered longingly. Your world is coming apart at the seams. Then I found that policy that cut a real deal between you and me. Then you walk up slowly to me, come up from the sand. And you're carving the leaves to play tricks with my head. I got to set the needed part of you. All my life and my heart is still aching. Set I needed a part of you. Maybe we'll lose our lives someday, but I got the stars in my heart. No one can take that away. I got the stars in my heart. Set the feeling is so far, so fire. 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 Set the feeling is so far.
Yo, everybody. All right, we still got a few people going, so I just want to hop on for a second and kind of address what I was chatting about. Time has slowed down to a crawl. I feel like my words take forever to get projected. However, I guess I was being asked about the Bruce Sees All channel. And, you know, sometimes I'm really hesitant to talk about other YouTube channels, but whatever. We kind of live in this life and we talk about stuff. I talk about a lot of things, so I don't know why I hesitate about that. But so there's this whole idea that we have telescopes that are freaking amazing, and there's all this work that, you know, amateur and independent people have to do with just simply recording what we know about the moon, like basic stuff. That, you know, the idea that like people looking at the moon are searching for alien bases is something that used to be really fun for me, to be honest, and then became really annoying to me because I realized like this is what we're actually fighting against. I feel, at least with the whole concept of streaming independent space, is to like have a perspective that's not this, hey, I've got the answer attitude. And somehow like YouTube degenerates constantly out of like either boredom or celebrity or any number of things to this point where it ends up always, not always, but a lot of the times just sounding like clickbait. It's just, and I hate that. I just can't deal with it anymore. It's like pictures of whoever is in charge. I don't look at those things. I don't listen to crappy music. I don't eat shitty things. Like, people can take choices and decide for themselves, but so I'm not trying to shit on over channels that clickbait and believe in aliens and think that UFOs are definitely on the moon, but it's not for me, is really what I'm saying. So I think I've seen every freaking Moonstream video possible. You know, you can imagine with the stuff that I talk about that I've spent countless hours looking at everything I could possibly get my hands on. And more often than not, I'll see thumbnails of people kind of luring people in to the idea that they're gonna come watch the moon and find aliens. And I think that throws people off track, to be honest. Even if there are aliens, that's really not the point. The point is there's a moon. Like there's a fucking moon. Excuse my language. Like the moon is already unbelievable. It's like a god. It's like a freaking deity that controls the weather and controls life cycles, and yet you have to watch the moon, or not, like the idea of these clickbaited titles and these videos about the moon where people are talking about aliens are like, definitively, yep, definitely castles on the moon, and then, I don't know, I could go off on a rant, but like that's the premise. All right. So no disrespect to anyone, but you know, I'll check out videos once in a while of that stuff, but I won't really subscribe to watching them on a regular basis. Let's see. Did that make sense? I hope that made sense. Broken Fin says, still learning, great site I've found, and thank you for posting. That's my pleasure, man. I've been doing this for a few years now, and yeah, it's always a giving and interesting experience. Self-Destruct says, what I wouldn't give to converse with a lunar resident and tell them, please come to Earth and put people in their place. What I wouldn't give to put out definitive proof online to shut down the lunacy of flat Earth. I don't know why these people get under my skin so much. At first I thought that flat Earth was a troll idea. As time went on, I realized these people are for real, and they're some of the most vile. I'm not going to say that. Let's not throw around vitriol. Maybe just delete that comment, man, because, like, to be honest, I know flat earthers in person who are like the nicest people, and they're misguided maybe, if you want to say something, but, or they have their own belief systems, but to say people are disgusting is really just not a good thing, man. Like, somebody could think that your values are equally disgusting, and would you want them to be able to call you that online? I think ultimately, I've been feeling for a long time like this whole flat earth thing is really not a thing. It's more about the antagonism towards people, and the way Neil deGrasse Tyson and these guys and machoism and Joe Rogan and these people present science like this club, like to beat people up with. This is the bullshit. And if you can see through that, it doesn't matter if it's flat or not flat or hollow or theoretical. I'd rather the Earth was theoretical. What if it's just a consciousness thing? Who cares what shape it is? And why would you even give a shit what another person thought the shape of the Earth was? Like, how insane is that? That's more the shit. Can you think about the conspiracy on a larger scale? You realize that it's definitely not about flat Earth. It's not about war. It's not about death. It's not about volcanoes, and not about climate change. It's anything to distract people from realizing that the moon and the sun are literal gods. I mean, are literal motherfucking gods that control the weather. And yet you have religion on planet Earth that believes in invisible deities that don't exist. And this is the ultimate real, like, you get to the other factors besides the shape of the Earth. But let's not be mean to one another. You can imagine that maybe a grandfather of some of your friends are flat earthers. Does that make them a terrible person, or does that make them a person? You know what I mean? Like, this is what I got away from. This is why YouTube is kind of toxic, because it allows and it engenders this type of behavior towards people. And that's disgusting. The climate of allowing people to talk down to one another. Same thing with evangelists. Like, who cares? Let people be evangelists. Like, you don't have to be. You know, they're not starting the wars, and wars don't start. Wars are. This world is the way it is, you know, and this idea that you can fix it somehow is the lie. That's the conspiracy. The conspiracy is hope, if anything. Yeah, divide and conquer is really like the first step, because what it does is it makes flat earthers and hollow earthers and alien believers and new ageists and everybody having their own little clique. If you really want to see what real content does, look at great songs. And you can see the comments. People really leave great comments under great songs. There's very little dissent. Under flat earth videos, NASA videos, hollow earth videos, leadership videos, political videos, so much bullshit going on in the comments. And look at Electric Universe. You have a few here and there, but people are actually discussing ideas. So not that Electric Universe is everything, but if you spend a little time, you kind of see that things will define themselves by being good. So maybe flat earth ends up eating itself. Maybe that becomes the new paradigm, and because enough people believe it, the earth actually becomes flat. Who the fuck knows? At this point, anything could happen, but the idea that people ignore that there's a moon, like they do. We look at the moon right now, and think about how you feel about it. Do you feel like it's this unbelievable thing that shouldn't exist? Or do you believe like, oh, it's a story, it's this thing, it's like, it's just there? Anyway, let me jump back into the chat room. I've been ranting for a bit. Did I lose everybody, or are people still hanging out? Cool. Got a few people. Ellie, you're still there. Distraction is powerful, so it's confusion. Carolina is sad. Is it because of what I'm saying or because of your phone? Mr. Self-Destruct says, it's not what I've experienced. Yes, misguided. The reason I said disgusting is the way I'm attacked. Well, think about it. Like, the more you're attacked, is it about retaliation? Because retaliation doesn't really ever work. The idea is to take the attack and to perceive it in a way that's like a test for you in order to deal with pain. You know, because the pain doesn't judge, you know what I mean? Everybody goes through an experience where they have to deal with pain, and it's about how you deal with it, not really about stopping the pain, right? I mean, that's how I feel about it. Yes, online commenting and even chat allows no human element of social interaction, text only, and people can get away with so much more in real life. Just be yourself and never lose. I mean, yeah, that's succinct. Mr. Self-Destruct, yeah, like I was saying, a great video will get people behind it. And even if it's not everybody, what matters is what you believe, right? It's not really about what others think. Because if you can change, then somebody else can change. But if you're waiting for everybody else to change, that's never going to happen. You know? It would be nice to have I'm reading the chat, it would be nice to have a civil conversation about certain subject, but I found it impossible online now in these days. It's just killing time with clouds blocking the moon. Word, all good. So that's cool. I think it was civil, right? I hope I wasn't too judgy. But, you know, I'm discerning at this point. I feel for my viewing time. So, all right, I think we are good. Carolina, I wish you luck with your phone. Have a great night. Ellie, thanks for sticking around so long. Mr. Self-Destruct, thanks for the chat. I appreciate just going through some stuff. Broken Finn, welcome again. And whoever else was sticking around for us. Sabian Geometry, bye. I'm sorry I missed that. I went off on a rant. I hope you hear this. That was way earlier. Damn. Okay. Good night, everybody. Take it easy.